probably work on things based on the information that he just got. My God, he's so fucking smart. Oh my God. So yeah, that's what Winston Churchill would do. And if you notice, just like the Nelson, a little less random than the Nelson Mandela Invictus shout out thing. Actually, shout out to Nelson Mandela, R.I.P. What the fuck? Now I lost my place. Great. Oh, it's not like the Invictus thing where you're just sitting around and then you do something. Like if you have to go to hell. Oh, wait, sorry, not hell. The DMV. If you have to go to the DMV, you're gonna sit around or whatever. Bring some work to do, right? Don't bring a book. Don't read. Who reads? Who would read? Only Bill Gates, nerd. Yeah. So don't read. Instead, work on something. Do a little bit of work here. Do a little bit of work here. You're driving your car somewhere. Read. No, don't do that. Then do some work. You think, pull a laptop on or pull a laptop out and get into a crash? That's not what I mean. I mean, you could do that if you want. Go ahead. Don't take it from me. It's your own thing that you're doing, but go ahead. But if you're smart about it, what you do is you bring in, you do it like Matthew, can't fucking do his accent. All right, Matthew McConaughey. Do it like him and get yourself a tape recorder and put it on the top of your car. And when you're driving your truck from Texas or to California and back, just record your voice. Record yourself and put your thoughts down, and then later transpose it or listen to it, or even if you don't, and just get it done. Imagine that would be a cool podcast for him. He could just put his thoughts out, people can hear it, and he could expose his inner self. Speaking of Matthew McConaughey, he did a commencement speech. I think it was for that Texas school. What is that Texas college? Dallas. Oh, let me look it up. That's why I have the internet. So he did a commencement speech, and it was really cool. I don't follow everything he said in that, but I remember one thing that was really nice that I've always thought of. Don't think about happiness. You think, and happiness is a goal. So, you want to be happy, you reach a point. And then when you reach that point, you become less happy because you have to keep going. You're basically you become a happiness junkie, addicted to happiness rather than really having it. But if you have the joy is a being. Joy is being a certain way. So when you insert joy into your life, you're enjoying what you do. You're living better than somebody who's chasing happiness. And I've always felt that. I always hated the idea of what makes you happy. And really it's just because I'm really fucking pessimistic. I mean, if you haven't noticed, I'm really cynical. But in my positive days, I don't like the idea of happiness, especially in the current idea of happiness, especially in the U.S. idea of happiness. Maybe I've always felt that Europa, they had a different idea of happiness. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but they had a different idea of happiness, and that's similar to the way Matthew McConaughey put it, in which instead of seeking happiness, you're seeking joy in your life. You're instilling joy. And, maybe I'm wrong. Again, I'm usually wrong. Actually, I'm usually right, ain't I? What was I going to say? University of Houston, Houston, Texas. That's where he did the commencement speech. If you guys needed to know that, could have looked it up yourselves, you lazy shit. But I've always felt that the Europeans had a different sort of view on happiness, in which it was joy. Where was I going? I'm repeating, trying to. Drinking. There's a different idea of drinking amongst Europeans. And my mindset is usually that kind of thing, which is not to say I haven't had, my really bad nights. Like, I've had those times where you look back and you're like, wow, I should be dead from alcohol poisoning. My blood probably became, everybody has those, near-death experiences, But usually my idea is like, it's not a drug. Or how did The Simpsons put it? You're confusing drugs with drugs. So instead of using alcohol as a drug, you want to use it as a drug. Technically, you don't want to use it at all. Nico actually says, don't use it at all. You're basically putting poison in your body. But for someone who loves eating cyanide, I'm fine with putting poison in my body. And is it German? Maybe it's Belgium. If you watch the show Booze Traveler, some more water. If you watch the show Booze Traveler, great show, by the way, shout out. I would love to meet that guy. He went to a place and this bartender said, alcohol may be bad for your body, but it's good for your soul. And when your soul feels good, you'll feel good. Which is, complete bullshit. Alcohol will probably kill your insides and shorten your life. Although, to be fair, who cares about the length of life? It's about the goodness in there. Or some other bullshit. I don't know what Abraham Lincoln is talking about or what he exactly said. But in terms of drinking, getting back to what I'm saying, there's this concept of you just drink enough to relieve yourself until you have your first piss and then you stop. No, you have it. So let's say it lets you let go of some of the, anxiety, some of the, uptightness. It lets go of that, but you get only to that point. You get just to that point, and then you ride it. You ride that, and then the night ends. That, and it's more casual. And maybe I'm wrong. I watch Skins, shout out, great show. I watch Skins, and I see them going off the rails with their drinking. But for the more regular people, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, though I won't care what you do. Correct me if I'm wrong, but their parties are different. Especially in more Eastern European places where instead of aiming for a goal of the party, they're more like that. They drink to a certain point and then they ride it, and that's fine. Even if they go crazy, even if the riding it is pretty high, they're not trying to get to a spot. In the U.S., I feel it's the opposite. So when I talk about, hey, let's party, let's do this, people have this, I hate party. Well, your party is different than my party. What's going on in my head? Because I'm not thinking of the drama, the guy who gets angry. I'm fine with puke, but the puking. I'm not talking about that shit. I'm not talking about the ultra egos and the stuff like that. And there's a certain point where you understand how people are drunk. So you know that this guy is going to get drunk and he's going to start being a jerk. So you have to cut him off and take him to a place, sit him down. And it's just, part of what happens. And they need to learn to control themselves, but, you forgive them as long as they're not killing people, blah, 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 blah. But it's so much worse here because I don't know how to explain it. There's like a goal. It's not about joy. It's about happiness. It's like when you go to the bar. You know, people are looking to fuck. They're not looking to have a good time. They're like, it's like going into a pool full of fish and watching them, you know, try to mate. You know, nobody just goes in there and be like, hey, you're attractive. I mean, I find you attractive. Do you find me attractive? Because if you do, let's go fuck. And then they can say, oh, yeah. And then they go. Or they say, oh, no, you're not my type. And it's like, okay. And then you go on to the next person and everybody leaves. Then the bar wouldn't make any money. So social anxiety and closing off of sexual realities, this has caused us to increase bartending business. Put 2 and 2 together. No. So when people show up to a bar here, what they're trying to do is trying to seek happiness. They're not seeking the same. They're not seeking joy. They're not seeking to make the place. They're not seeking the joyful experience. And we need to change that, people. We need to change that. Show up to that bar and you know, you can still go home with somebody. I particularly encourage you to go home with somebody and catch chlamydia. But that was a lot of but what was I saying? But big butt, small butt, Timba's butt. Timba, do you need a butt scratch? No, he's just sleeping. But go there and try to enjoy, you know, drink to a certain point, ride it, and then enjoy the experience. You know, and if you have to meditate, like the current trend, current trends, being good to yourself, self-respect. If you follow the current trends of meditating, especially meditating to be in the present moment, you'll have that time. It's about being in the present moment when you show up and enjoying the experience, and letting alcohol kind of just be a little key of letting you in into that. And then, you know, once you get it, write it and just enjoy the time. That's why there's this, I know a really cool bar. What did they do? Oh, they have plenty of pool tables and they have karaoke. So like you can watch the karaoke and you're having a good time. If you don't like karaoke, go fuck yourself because it's really cool. Or take a trip to Japan and learn how to put your ego aside. You know? That's how you do karaoke. And if you know you suck, bring a friend or have somebody do a duet with you. And then both of you suck, but it's funny. You know, if you suck, have fun. If you're great, go at it. And just put on a performance if you can. And in between the karaokeing, new word, the karaokeing, you can play pool, and that puts your mind on something, which takes to another point, is that doing something while you're enjoying the moment or enjoying the experience, that really helps. So let's say you go to a volunteer, and don't volunteer for, you know, good reasons. Don't volunteer to help people. Don't volunteer to, you know, provide a service to people in need. I mean, you could be doing so much more. You could be lobbying in the government. You can be lobbying and then solve the problems in the first place, which instead of, you know, putting a Band-Aid on and then it keeps going. Or, you know, don't give your money to charity. Keep your money. Don't give it to charity, but then use that money to invest. And then the investment keeps going, because money makes money, right? If you invest $10 and it goes up times 10, you get 100. But if you invest $100 times 10, you got 1,000. The blah 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 ROI on that is so much better if you have more money, because money makes money. So save up that money, and then when you die, give a little to your family to provide a nice little safety net for them, but then give the rest to charity, and then they'll have it. Chances are, when you fucking die, people will still be in need. So do that instead of volunteering for the good of people. I'm just kidding. But yeah, volunteer, and you'll be doing something while you meet people. And that meeting people, as they always say, meeting people is the right thing to do. I don't know. Where am I going with this bullshit? So yeah, you're doing something and you're doing it with people, just like you're playing pool. When you play pool, your mind is on the pool, but you're also with another person and talking to them. And you could do that with sports, but with sports, you have to be careful. Because let's say, let's go play some sports and be together. And it's like, okay, we're playing soccer. We can't talk. Yeah? We're playing football and we can't talk. We're playing football, American football, and we can't talk. So when you can't communicate while you're doing the thing, it kind of shuts that off. Which is not to say you can't go play sports and injure yourself and not be able to explain it to anybody. What the fuck did I bring that up? But if you're gonna play sports to enjoy the moment, the way I'm saying, you want to play a sport that you can communicate with the people around you while you're doing it. That way you can stay in the moment and experience it with other people, and you can relate the experiences. And when you talk, people think too much when they talk. And there's way too many. I read this thing today. Somebody gave advice. Somebody gave advice on how to handle the situation. And I was like, holy shit. Do people really think that much around people? I probably have no friends, except for Nico and Timbo. I probably have no friends. Really? No, I do have friends. I love you guys if you're listening to this. I probably have no friends, just to repeat myself again, because they go away because they have too much ego. So, yeah. So, guys, I have to go, unfortunately. You guys are thinking, yay! Because I got to put Timba outside because he went to pee and other things I got to get done. But hopefully I'm going to review this and I'm going to jump back in on Friday, unless Nico comes in on Friday, and you guys get to listen to me some more. So this is me logging off, saying goodbye, and I hope you guys have a good day or night or whatever the fuck. Bye. Logging off.